Hey everybody, welcome back to the Miniac, and we are live with the John Cooper Works Racing Team, and this is the recap for Indianapolis, and what a weekend is all I could say. There were some good points, and there were some points, and there were some things that didn't go quite as planned, so we're going to dive into all this, and I'm going to start with PJ, because you had kind of a bad weekend. It didn't quite go the way you had planned, and I was really sad to see that. I want you to tell us a little bit what happened.
Yeah, it was kind of like this, and then just did that really quickly. Not out of anything that I could do. So weekend started off really well. I was speaking with Rob before the weekend. We threw a little bit of a different setup on the car, and it was magic. First in the first practice, although that's not exactly what I wanted to do. Second in second practice, qualified second, which I think is pretty much my best ever qualifying run in the TCA class, other than in race pace and getting pole position at Indy last year. And it quickly all went to hell from there. First race, or R1, maintained second position, heading into turn 9. Fellow competitor decided that I wasn't there, tried to drive through me and turned me. I was hit by another competitor head on, and that ended my race very quickly from there. You'll see it coming up pretty soon. Yeah. And now my race ended right there.
Yeah. And the car was not in great shape.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was wrecked. And that is definitely not how I wanted to end our first race there at Indy. We are really better than this. My pace really showed how good we can be now that I've got a handle on the mini JCW and the setup. I can really work with Rob and the team to set it up to do what I want to do in the races, which is a great thing moving forward into next season. But it just, with the guys in the championship hunt ahead of me and behind me, I had a feeling that something was going to happen. I just thought they were better pro drivers than that. That's just a complete rookie move.
Mm-hmm.
There was a penalty involved with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't help me fix the car that was completely destroyed.
Yeah.
I got to thank Lewis and the team. They got it together for R2. They really busted their butts, and they got it together. And they are the absolute best team in the paddock. The best car to take a hit like that and be able to put it back together and start the next day. Luckily enough, we had a day in between. So thank God for that. But R2 started off really well again and just kind of ended in a little bit of a messy end. I went from 12th to 6th in 2 laps. Was chasing down the 5th place competitor, and I honestly, seeing those guys working on the car, it was just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was actually the second contact from that same competitor. I had made a move to the inside of turn 10 and had the door completely closed on me. And then this was my second move, I believe, the next lap after crossing the start-finish line. And it's just like, I don't know what target I had on me this weekend. Maybe it's because the bright orange car, but I have no words. It's just not the way I wanted to finish off the season. We had great successes. Unfortunately, the highs were very high. The lows were very low, and this weekend just kind of epitomizes it. But we're going to kick some serious butt next year.
Yeah, and a huge shout out to all the techs that came out from the other dealerships, Cincinnati,
Yes.
Mini, Omaha, or Mini of Omaha. We also had Mini of Fort Wayne, I believe. And there was one other, I think.
Cincinnati.
We had Cincinnati. I said Cincinnati.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Cincinnati.
Dreyer and Reinbold.
Oh, Dreyer and Reinbold. Yeah. So we had a lot of people out there with the team, and they did what they had to do to keep the cars going around the track. And I showed the time lapse, like they took out an engine in about an hour, in about 2.5 hours or so, it looked like.
Yeah, we killed it. It was absolutely amazing, and I can't thank them and everyone on the team enough. Like, it's just, there's no words to have that kind of support behind you. And it's just a testament to the chassis and the car to take a hit like that and be able to run the next day. I don't think any other car, well, I know because I've been in other incidents that any other car in the grid could not do that. The Mini is the only car that could do that. And it's just a real testament to not only the speed of the car in terms of race pace, but the safety and the structural rigidity of that chassis. They are absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and you were fast that second race. So out of the box, I think you had one hardship lap to test things out. But from that start, it was impressive. You went from the back and you were fighting for third place when you got taken out there coming around turn 3.
Yeah. Such is life in racing. Sadly, it sometimes goes your way, it sometimes doesn't. You have to have faith in the spatial awareness of the competitors around you, that they're looking at the mirrors, they know where other cars are around you, and you saw what happened.
Yep. Now we'll go ahead and chat with Cristian. You had it started off as a good weekend, didn't end how you had planned. I know I knew you were really upset about that, but I mean you did manage to podium third on Friday, so that was something to be proud of.
Yeah,
you got to work on spraying your champagne a little bit better though.
I tried a new method to spray the champagne on Friday, but it was we went into the weekend knowing that finishing third in the championship was going to be a challenge. We had a loose wheel that resulted in a wheel stud failure at Sebring, unfortunately, that put us in that position. And we had a 1-point difference. We had a good race one, other than getting collected, and the guys that took out PJ, it seems like they tried to take out every Mini they saw, and they turned hard right across the track, which was very unsportsmanlike and just terrible driving.
Mm-hmm.
They teach you at a very early on just to hold your brakes when you're wrecking, and I guess he didn't know how to do that, so it destroyed our car. But luckily, we battled the Veloster cleanly all race, and were able to come away on top. But yeah, Sunday still hurts, as you can tell. It just I kind of felt we had a loose wheel. I felt it on the pace laps, and really I should have probably pitted in, but I was a little flustered and was just trying to figure everything out. I pitted and automatically went one lap down right away, and we tried to salvage it. Thankfully, Bruce and Dad and they tried to help me get the points I needed, but yeah, we didn't come away with that third place, which really hurts because me as a driver, I put a lot after NOLA, after like Sonoma, we didn't have a good finish, and then NOLA race 2, I really took myself out of the race, and I really had to just sit back and reflect on what am I doing, how can I do this better. And so at VAR, I put my head down and was ready for the rest of the season. I think it really showed in my driving, and so it was really unfortunate. I think I would have been less mad if it was something that was my fault, but it was kind of out of my control in multiple situations this year that put us where we were. But other than that, the team was great all season. I was really happy with the 3 wins that we had, and we had a pole at Road America. I definitely know I was a better driver all season than the fellow competitor I was competing against in the top 2 guys, and I think next season people need to watch out. I'm going to come swinging. I really, I don't know. I'm ready for next season. I'm hungry. I'm ready to try to win a championship.
Yep, you don't mess with the Minis; they come back fighting.
Yep.
And Clay, I know you didn't quite end the weekend how you had planned. I think you had some fuel issues, I believe, on race 1, and then you had to basically you were out of the race on race 2. So tell us a little bit about what had happened there.
Yeah, I mean, we qualified third. We had the pace all weekend. Right into race 1, I was up to second by turn 1. And with the BOP in the series, we were a little bit. It was out of our favor. So I mean, I was in the next best position to the competitor in front of us. So I pretty much ran my race, ran my line, and about halfway through, we ran into a fuel issue. We cycled it a few times. It never seemed to come back on us. So, and by that point, we were already in last. So I ended up parking the car. And then we did find an issue over Saturday, and for race 2, I had the fastest lap time, so I started on pole. And same situation. We were in second, and the leader kind of checked out a little bit, and we ran into the same problem. So, but that's a part of developing a car. The team did great this season. I think we came a long way with this car, and we got second in the championship, which is awesome. And yeah, just looking forward to next year. And this car has came along a long way, and I think it's going to be the one to beat next year.
You did really good. I did hear you got third place championship.
Second place
Championship. My apologies. Yep. So that's still an accomplishment. That's still an accomplishment for the year. You managed to get that. Now, Lewis, I know this was your second race out this year in a car, and it looked like you had some turbo issues, and then you had another issue that took you out for race 2.
Yeah. I mean, we went in with a lot of hope. It was our backyard. We did well last year in Indy. Honestly, we just car wise, we had nothing top speed for the new cars all year. They were always faster by about a second. They control the pace really, so we tried hard. It's the guys, PJ, Clay, Cristian, the full-time guys just drove their hearts out and really showed their talent. They are the best guys in the paddock. They managed to get podiums somehow. The supposedly superstars that won everything, they would make mistakes all the time. They gave us a few races. They could do whatever they want. I actually told them in their face that, anybody can be a superstar with straight line speed. I'm pretty talented in a straight line. Trust me. I'm probably the most talented guy with straight line speed in the world. Probably number 1. So, I mean, the guys they're just so talented. Clay managed to hang on to the second place. We continue to get turned down all year long. Both, halfway through the season, we win Road America, which is a speed trap, a high speed racetrack. And then we get turned down the following 2 races because, our cars supposedly don't lose power in the heat and the other cars do. So they BOP'd us by predicting the weather instead of, the cars. And so, yeah, I think our last show, you guys know, I was pretty disappointed in the way the year went. This was a great year for the guys, talent wise. They're the best guys in the paddock, and they were able to kind of keep up somehow and podium somehow with the speed we had. I drove the last 2 races. I had a lot of transmission, gearbox, shifting problems.
Sebring, so I never really got to run. Here at Indy, we thought we had fixed it. Race 1, I was starting to get up to speed, and the shifter problem happened again. And then for race, and then I didn't have enough power for the race 1. Race 2, we kind of fixed the power issue, we think. And I felt racy there. I mean, in both races, I managed to get up to 5th at one point. And then, just really don't have anything for this straightaway for anybody. And then Cristian, we made a huge mistake for race 2 on Cristian's car, and cost him the chance to go fight for that 3rd place in the championship. Again, he was going to have to drive, immaculate to be able to challenge for to stay in 3rd place, because the 2 Subarus that basically took everything they're just about a second faster lap. So it is what it is. The series knows that there's an issue with figuring out the balance of performance. The other teams are doing a good job hiding it. I mean, it's not their fault. It's really the series' fault, not being able to understand what teams do and how they protect their performance to not get turned down. And unlike the other teams, we're pretty transparent, and we don't sandbag it. I mean, we can't. We just don't have the pace. We're flat out, and the series thinks that during practice we're doing what everybody else does, is just hold back a little bit, and we're not. We just can't go any faster. And then if you look at our practice times and then our race times, it's the same. And then the other guys all of a sudden are 1 second faster. I at some point, when the series comes and they talk to you about it and they say, well, they only were able to do it for 1 lap. Yeah, the 1 lap that matters, right? So they do it when they need it, not that they just were able to do it 1 lap. When a car goes from last to winning a race 3 races in a row, that's not 1 lap. That's walking the field at whenever he wanted to. And unfortunately, like with PJ and stuff like that, we all knew that, I mean, there's no secret. It's Gresham, right? And the Subarus, and Devin also, Gresham, I guess, comes from MX5 Cup. They bump a lot and has that driving style. So, whether he did it on purpose or not, on race 1, at hitting PJ from behind in the first lap, he was on a mission to catch Fartuk that was in front of PJ, and but we all knew he had all race long to just pass everybody. Unfortunately, he decided to use his MX5 Cup driving style on PJ, we were in the principal's office after that race, and he apologized to PJ, and I thought it was sincere, and it was all good. But then in race 2, he started behind me, and I knew I had fixed my power, so I had some power maybe in the straightaway to at least at the start to race him for a couple of laps before he got by me, because he was going to get by me no matter what. He has too much straightaway speed. And coming down into turn 1 at the start, I left him a car length, but I was ahead of him, and we went into the braking zone, and he just bulldozed in, and then hit me and drove away. And that's just the style of driving. Bruce might be able to agree with me on it, because he does a lot of spec Miata, which is the same kind of racing, right? A lot of bump drafting, hitting, moving cars out of the way to be able to get past, and that's how they drive, unfortunately. So, are we better? Yeah, absolutely, because we're racing against that, right? When we play fair and we have the most talented drivers on the grid, to lose to that hurts, right? So I always say I'm not a sore loser when it's a good race and a fair fight. and it's mirror to mirrors and out braking each other and passing each other back and forth, and whoever gets to the finish line first, man, that's a hell of a race, you know. And if you lose to that, you should be proud of it, you know. That's a good, hard fought race, and the better, smarter, faster, you know, whatever driver won. But when you're losing to a car that's a second or two faster, and guys don't have to drive really nice and they can just get on the throttle and pull away, and I mean, it's all in our videos. We see it all day long on track. I experienced it firsthand driving the last two races. You know, it's interesting, you know, either getting hit for no reason at the start, again, you know, kind of bully his way through when he's got the fastest car. But, you know, they do that to protect that, you know, not to show the speed down the straightaway, right? So they pass you, you know, push you out of the way, whatever, in the corners, and then they have the straightaways. They don't have to show their speed. So, you know, whatever, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
So that kind of driving doesn't go very far, you know, if they're trying to become a pro, you know, continue to grow as a pro race car driver and go to a different team. I guarantee you that we won't see them in any top teams in the future. You know, I don't think so.
Yeah. Now you mentioned bump drafting, and I did remember them talking. I do remember them talking about this during the live feed. So what exactly is that? Because I can see right there they were talking about it when Cristian was right behind the BRZ.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's nice. You know, the guy in front appreciates that because he's, you know, you're helping him get ahead of the competition. But you know, when PJ got bumped in a right left-hander kind of chicane and got bumped as he's turning. And when you bump somebody as he's turning, you just spin him around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's different. You know, same. You know, there was no bump drafting at the start with Gresham. He just came on the side door. Actually, I thought he had just squeezed himself through, but he got next to me and then opened up to take the corner, and he just pushed me. You know, I signed his door with my wheel, but you know, actually he decided to, you know, he requested my signature, you know, and so yeah, I mean that's just, you know, that doesn't go far. Whatever, you know, he won everything, Rookie of the Year, the championship, won a bunch of races, all the races, had the fastest car in the straightaway. Yeah, you know, you're gonna take all of that home, but it doesn't go very far. It is what it is. I mean, you know how many drivers win championships and drive that way, or have cheating cars, or not cheating cars, just fast, because they didn't cheat. They just know how to work the BOP, so the series don't turn them down. So it's not cheating. It's just playing the BOP game better than everybody else, right? So their cars are legal. They're just stupid fast in the straightaway, and we have nothing for that. You know, talent again. You know, talent doesn't exist in the straightaway, but you can be a superstar if you have a fast car down the straightaway.
Yeah. So Bruce, this was your first time in the Mini, and the live stream, and on the live stream they interviewed you for that as well. So what was that like being in the Mini for the first time?
I can't say enough, and thank Lewis enough for letting me get in one of his cars, and again, this platform to allow a guy that's never driven the car, first time in warm up, was the first time I'd ever started the Mini, and to go out there, and Cristian helped me out by leading me through a couple laps, but and the whole team, Clay and PJ and Lewis all gave me advice that helped me get up to speed. But what a great car to drive, and a great setup that Lewis and Rob gave me to gain some confidence and be able to be as fast as I could. Having seen what's going on out there in the SRO races, I was a bit surprised, because some of these moves and the ones that took out PJ were rookie type mistakes, and that's what spooked me. And I kind of recalibrated how I was going to race. I finally realized I don't have to necessarily be fast. I have to just stay away from certain people and survive. And I had a blast out there, but I have to say I had the most fun racing wheel to wheel with Lewis. I trusted him. And I wasn't sure who I could trust of our other competitors out there. So, but I just had a ball. This was a dream come true, as all of you heard me say many times, that I had been dreaming of doing this for some time, and then for it to come together here at the last moment, and for Indy, my hometown and a home track. This was a dream come true, and a result to drive competitively, maybe not the fastest out there, but decent finishes, respectable performance, and to bring the car home without any damage. Actually, that's probably my claim to fame. And some of those great mechanics in our garage, they thanked me, and it gave them time to work on PJ's car, which is the one that needed the work. So
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier to get this opportunity. I couldn't be happier for the team I was racing with. I couldn't be happier, but for the this platform I got to drive. And I had sent a text to my son last night. I laid down and closed my eyes, and I was still taking laps at Indy. And I want another lap. I want another race. And I think that's the testament of how good a time they had with it all. So thank you all for helping to make this happen. I enjoyed every single bit of it.
Yeah, I like to, add to, like, Bruce was fast right away too, and he fit right in with the gang. We have a great atmosphere here. I mean, just the way we operate, and we just love Bruce. I mean, he was a professional right out of the box. He came every week. He would stop by the shop on his way, as we got closer to Indy, and we kind of beat up the car at Sebring, and we had it fixed right away when we got back, and we got him fitted here at the shop. And then the guys, finished fitting him here at the racetrack. And, he just did a great job. I mean, I think in the first practice he was right there, 6th or 5th. I don't remember, but you were second. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It was amazing.
I thought Rob was calling out P1 or P2, maybe just in the mini group. I didn't realize it was all TCA. But there's the proof. There was some, not our team, but there was some sandbagging going on with some of our competitors out there.
Yeah,
you called it.
Yeah. So then I think there's some images of Bruce and I. We had a great time in race 1. We just ran a bunch. We ran together for several laps until my shifting issues start happening again. And then Bruce did a great job. And in race 2, when we made the mistake on Cristian's car, the team we were going to do whatever we could to help Cristian salvage something. And at the time, Devin, who was racing Cristian for 3rd in the championship, was running 4th or 3rd, and Cristian needed to be 8th overall in the class to secure 3rd place in the championship. And so PJ was already out, but I know that I know that if PJ was winning the race, PJ would have pulled off the racetrack to help Cristian.
Absolutely.
And I pulled off the racetrack, and then we waited until the last minute to see where Devin was. Devin was 3rd with like 2 or 3 laps to go, and Bruce came on the radio, said, "Man, just let me know what you guys need from me. I'd be happy to help." And so with about 2 laps to go, Rob asked Bruce to pull in also, and he did. And thank you so much for being a team player.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Devin won the race. His teammate was leading and let him go by, and he won the race. So the 8th place finish that Cristian needed, and is where he ended up a couple laps down, wasn't enough, you know. So thank you, Bruce. I mean, you didn't have to do it, but you know.
I'll tell you, I know, and you said that on the radio. I think Cristian clinched the deal, though. He promised me dinner.
Yeah, I did promise you dinner. So
But
I think
honestly,
we need to go to dinner here soon.
Yeah, honestly speaking, for me and coming into this, to be part of a team meant so much. It's one thing just it was great, yes, to go out and drive Indy, drive SRO, but to also be part of a team and then come down to it that we could all help in some way. And we did what we could from the back end up. And the winning team, they played their strategy too, because I think Gresham gave Devin the win. And that was the only scenario that would keep Cristian from sealing 3rd place. But we did what we could. I was happy to be a part of it. And it goes down in prosperity, or in my mind, that what an experience. That was just another part of it. That's how teams work.
Well, we need to do it again.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
I heard you tell your wife what you wanted for Christmas, so I'm going to put a bow on top of one of the cars, and I'm going to put a Christmas tag with your name on it from your wife.
Kim, are you listening?
Probably is.
I'm pretty sure she is.
I think so. Yes, she's hollering back.
She heard. There you go.
I think she's due for a shopping spree.
Shopping spree. I'll take one Mini Cooper race car.
Yeah.
If anyone knows
but again, hey, thanks again, guys.
Yeah. One Mini Cooper race car.
Nice.
And Zach, I've got to thank you too. I sent you some pictures, but it all started at the beginning. Someone said, PJ, he's the vinyl guy. Just look at the side of his cars. He knows how to apply all that stuff. And like any good supervisor, somehow PJ ends up, I'll get the tape, and Zach took over on the side. So PJ, you have management written all over you.
I did have to go to the trailer to get it because you want to cantilever it, which
you did.
Taught me very well. But I didn't know where I was in the trailer, and then I got caught up speaking with someone on the way. So yes, typical management style.
That was good.
All done magically.
Well, on the plus side, I do have some skill on applying on cars, so I was able
you
to
killed it. So you're hired from now on.
That's right. I'll tell you, my car looked great.
Yeah, I'll come back out. I'll come back out to all the races when we're getting the cars ready for the races. I'll just come out and do vinyl.
And it still looks great.
Yeah. Good. Good. And you see, blue's now my favorite color.
I saw that.
It worked. It worked for you. It was the perfect color for that car.
Yeah.
It was a nice. The whole team had a nice color palette. You had red, orange, yellow, blue, and red or gray. Well, bluish gray, but you had a nice color palette there.
What's the name of the color? The GP
Racing Gray Metallic.
Okay, so it's gray. It's purple.
It's
not purple.
It literally is purple.
What color is the other car going to be when you build that one?
That's funny because I was I don't know who I was with at lunchtime.
Silver. I thought we decided on silver,
right? Yeah. So I was. We were at lunchtime or sometime during the day with Clay, and I said, I was thinking what other good color would look good, and I don't know. There's other options, I'm sure, and we can all maybe have some fans. Maybe we can do some kind of competition of who comes out with the next color. But I was thinking kind of the same colors, but in chrome, like either a chrome yellow, chrome red, a chrome gray. Silver.
That would definitely stand out.
I think we should do the same silver as my F-55. Yeah.
I was thinking if you're gonna do silver, if you're gonna do any color, you should do colors that Mini's getting ready to discontinue. You should do either white silver or pepper white.
Not pepper. I don't really like
a black car. I wonder
or enigmatic black.
Black Mini would look. I haven't seen any black Minis, so maybe that would.
Maybe midnight black.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. That Well, once we get the car a little closer to color time, maybe in one of the live streams we do a competition and have the fans, submit some cool colors, and we'll see what comes out of it.
It'll end up being pink.
Well, if it wins, it is what it is, right?
Hey, just do a pink pig livery like Porsche.
There you go.
It could be breast cancer awareness car.
There you go.
There you go. It'll just be cool. It'll be cool regardless of what color you put on that car. It'll just be an amazing car. It's gonna be an amazing car, just like the current TC car. Jackson says British Racing Green.
That's
Too dark. Another bright color.
Of course, he says British Racing Green. My JCW is British Racing Green. I'd love to see British Racing Green.
Well, the TC car is already technically British Racing Green, so on the underside.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, maybe a green, but I think it needs to be a little bright so it fits in the yellow and the blue and the.
Well, the British Racing Green, the new one's pretty bright.
We'll see. Yeah. Well,
you could do Lizard Green from the Porsche.
Oh, it's got to be a mini color. You can't bring in Porsche colors.
Okay,
No.
we can't bring Porsche colors in. All right, how about Ice Blue?
We already have a blue.
Ice Blue. Have you seen? You remember Ice Blue?
No, we can't have two blues.
Yeah.
All right. Well, whatever color you're gonna pick for the car, it's gonna be great regardless. There's a whole color palette of mini colors that you can pick from, or you can just do whatever you want with the color and pick out something that's just gonna be cool regardless.
Yeah, we'll see depending on who drives it. I think PJ's ready for 2023, and
Yeah.
we might put him in a different car. Elaine wants to come back with a group of Canadian drivers, so maybe we let him use his car, and we'll put PJ in the next car, and we'll see. PJ will come up with the next color unless we put it out there for the fans.
I'm good with whatever you choose. Just to be a part of the team, that's the absolute sincerest honor. So whatever color, doesn't matter. Either way, we got to get rid of this bad luck and just keep up the speed, and we're going to have a killer season next year. I can't wait for it.
Absolutely.
I feel like Jackson is making a joke about this. The color sand.
No, not beige. No. Well, not for me.
It already is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Beige,
Anyone else can have that color, not beige.
beige would be funny because beige is typically a slow car color. So you put it on a fast car.
Nah, that's not a fast color. You said it right. But thank you, Jackson.
But yeah, but I wanted to add that entire week that I was there, that was incredible. There was a whole lot of things that I got to do out there that I never got to do in my entire life. Got to walk on the speedway. Got to, for the photo shoot of all the cars, I got to ride in one of the cars out onto the track to line it up for the speedway. I'm still having some back pain from having to climb over the retaining wall near the signal tower. So that was
your finger.
My finger?
Yeah. The one that had the Band-Aid on it.
Oh, the one I stabbed on the wheel hub. Yeah. It's doing good. It's doing good. I ended up actually breaking a nail climbing out of an Indy car in at the museum too.
Oh, man, you just got injured.
You got to climb out of an Indy car. Come on.
I got to climb out of it. Yeah, I got to climb in and out of an Indy car in the museum. That was rather fun too.
So Zach, you get to interview us all the time. So since you were a guest at the race weekend and you were here all week from the shop, loading into Indy, and enjoying all the. I mean, you had never been to the Speedway before, and most people never get to experience. I mean, you walk the track. You got to see the museum. Like, people come to the race and don't have time to go see the museum. I mean, like, tell us. I mean, I know you were slobbering all over the place, man, every day.
It was seriously a blast. There were so many things I got to do that I've never done before. I mean, how many people got to sit in on the drivers' meeting before the race weekend? I mean, that was something I just didn't expect. And there I was sitting there with all those drivers, listening to everything that we needed to know for the race that weekend, and being down in the pit lane, and being there when the cars come in, and it was just really incredible to be in that place and just be in that area. And everyone was just great. The drivers were great. The team was great. It was it was fantastic. And getting to see some other cars, see some of the other cars from the other classes, like the GT3, GT4 cars. Those were pretty incredible. Going over and looking at this carbon fiber AMG Mercedes, that was incredible.
Yeah.
So
What about the hours and the days?
That took a little bit of getting used to. That was a little different. I wasn't expecting getting up that early for the races, but I got used to it. I got so used to it that when I got back to Kansas, being in Indianapolis at that speedway felt more familiar to me than being in my own town. So I felt really off getting back into Kansas. I'm like, it just doesn't feel right anymore over here. It's like I need to be around this stuff more often. It just like, I think it's like almost a constant adrenaline rush or something, because you're around all that stuff. You're experiencing things you don't normally get to be around. I mean, how many people get to walk around a bunch of race cars, sit on a cart or a pit cart and go through traffic getting to the pits? Or how many people get to do all that stuff? It's just really different. Not a lot of people get to do that, except unless you're a racing driver or part of a racing team.
Yeah.
And Zach, did you ever realize from before how many people and how many hours go in to supporting a 40-minute race? Days and days of work and hours. It's incredible. And again, Lewis's team and all of the tech support, it's just remarkable what goes on behind the scenes to pull off a 40-minute race.
Yeah, and I know when everything went down with the first time around with PJ's car, I was like, the engine's toast. Are they really going to get this car done before the next race? And yep, they got it back on the track for the next race. So like that's a pretty quick turnaround. It's good that you had that day between the two.
it was a piece of cake. We had a whole Saturday to do it, you know. And NOLA, we had a pretty big moment, and we thought originally we were just going to put the car in the trailer, and actually they were getting ready to put it on a trailer, and I walked up to the car. I was like, no guys, we're fixing this thing. And we were up there until 2:00 in the morning, and we were on track the next morning. And PJ's car, I don't know, I think you finished fifth that race.
First top 5 in the car. And that was my first real taste of what you guys in the mini JCW team are about. And I have to say, being in the SRO Probably World Challenge paddock since 2013, you guys are the absolute best. And the things you do and the support for your drivers and just the smiles that you put on everyone's faces, it goes so far. And I honestly, like, I got back home. I was talking to Mayu and on the drive home, and I'm like, I don't know why the hell I didn't make this decision before. It's just, I'm a very loyal person, and when I'm with a team, I'm with a team. But my God, you guys are the absolute best in the entire SRO paddock, and I'm so lucky and fortunate to be a part of the team and to be a part of the mini JCW family, the mini family. My hat's off to you, and I sincerely can't thank you enough. And I look forward to many, many more successes with you guys. It just, I can't stop smiling. It's awesome. Like, I'm already looking forward to NOLA next year, and Clay and Christian, and getting in the cars and just kicking everyone's, you know what? I can't say the word.
Yeah, I told Christian today. I mean, obviously he's pretty bummed about what happened, but 2023 starts today, or started yesterday, right? So we all know what the drivers are capable of, the talent level. We knew how difficult it was to even get on a podium, and we got on quite a few podiums, but we unloaded the cars yesterday from the truck. All of them have all 4 wheels on. One has a little bit of a bent wheel, but we'll get that fixed and rewrap some body parts, and we'll refresh some stuff and
put a new door on Christian's car.
And we'll be ready. We'll build another car here during the next month too. And right now I'm going on vacation, guys. I'm leaving Thursday with Clay, and I'm going to Mexico. You know,
So
and,
enjoy.
but I'm not going to Cancun or you know, Cabo, or I'll be
No,
close to those
you're gonna be
places.
driving that
but,
V across behind you.
but we're gonna go racing
All
in
right.
the dunes of Sonora for a week.
Well,
That's
there's
a
that's a vacation. I consider that a vacation. If you're having fun doing something, you're not working. You're having a vacation.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the car. Can you see the car?
Oh yeah. It looks
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
we're upgrading the radiator because last year, well, we ran in 2018. It ran the entire week with the temperature gauge on H. I don't know what temperature that was. It just ran on H, and I can't even believe it did it. But it did it for 5 days, and we ended up winning. You know, so I've always wanted to go back, and between COVID and then just racing, just having it's normally the same. It starts on the weekend of the Sebring 12-hour race, and and sometimes we're in Sebring during that time, so it's really difficult to participate in the rally. But because of COVID, it kept getting postponed, and then now, so it got postponed for next week. And so perfect timing. We're done with our SRO season, and so we're here prepping the car. I haven't had time to fix it either, so we're changing radiators and adding electric fans, and Clay's been putting the seat belts, and we got to put the seats back in it, and he's connected the fire bottle. And what we got this cool navigation system that they will give us over there, but we got all the mounting kits for it, so we'll have it pre-wired, and it's basically a treasure hunt in the middle of the desert for 5 days. So
Sounds like fun.
yeah, so it'll be a lot of fun. I love it. I've always loved the dirt side of it, and we'll maybe Clay. We got 5 cars in our class, so with us, so we got 4 competitors in our class, and we'll go see what a couple of rookies will do, against probably some of these guys that do it every year, or that's what they do for a living.
So I did have a question. Do you have room in your dually next year for an extra person?
To go where?
Every single race.
It depends on how many people go in the dually. So potentially, yes.
Potentially. Well, if we can make that work, you guys have yourself a YouTuber who's going to come and film you guys racing.
Sounds good. Do you know how to drive a truck and a trailer?
That's helpful.
I can, as long as it's not a big rig, I can probably drive it.
Well, it's a dually.
Then I can drive
It's the same size as the semi. So
I've driven on dealership lots. I've driven trucks with air brakes on them to move them around for photos. So I can drive if I can drive an F450, F550 Super Duty, I can drive any truck.
Yeah, it's a 450, but it pulls 35,000 pounds.
I just drive it smoothly.
same width as a semi, or wider.
8 feet, it's same.
No, I can drive it.
Turns. Don't cut the turns. That's all you got to focus on.
Yeah.
We'll give you a practice here in the parking lot. If you can get around the parking lot with the trailer and the dually, you're good to go down.
You gotta beat Jackson for the job. Jackson's our professional dually trailer operator, and diesel mechanic.
I don't want to take the job away from him.
Jackson's his navigator.
I'll be his navigator. I'll help him out. Now help him out with navigation as a backup.
Yeah, you better be proficient in diesel mechanics like Jackson is. So.
Is he really good at diesel mechanics?
He has been in the last 2 months. He's been able to fix it on the road. So yeah.
Well, definitely, because I'm looking at the schedule. I'm like, I need to be out there filming at each of these races.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have live stream recaps. I need to be at those races to film as much as possible, so we can have those really amazing live streams and get the in-car footage and everything. And I'm gonna have to figure out a better place to mount the camera in Clay's car, because it was mounted up so high, all you could see is this fantastic driving, but you couldn't see the track.
Nice.
But it looked really cool. It looked really cool. It's just like the camera was just too high for what I was trying to get out of it. but it ended up being great. But yeah, I was looking at the schedule and I'm like, yeah, I need to be out there for all these.
And there you go.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep. But it worked. I mean, the weekend for the entire week that I was there, that worked out pretty well. Aside from Cristian being a backseat driver.
You tried to kill us like 5 times. He literally almost rear-ended a car, and we had to tell him to hit the brake.
In my defense, the car had one brake light.
Well, the car wasn't even moving from the stop sign, and I was like, "Oh, great, this is how I die."
Actually, well, just so you know, my car would have stopped us before I did.
Oh, jeez.
Probably. But you don't want to rely on that.
I have the emergency automatic braking. It will alert me first if I'm too close, and then it will hit the brakes on its own.
Oh.
That made me think of a piece of trivia. You know, the person who took out PJ, when we left pit road, that person had their turn signal on to blend into the track, into a single file line. But when it came to racing, there was nobody. So whoever has my in-car video has to save that. I guarantee. That
does the turn signals
went on to blend to go out to the track, and then it went off. So
everything works with our cars. It's all the same. We have turn signals.
That's hysterical. They signaled to merge.
Yes, but in racing condition, there's no signaling. There's no yielding.
No, I mean the guy that ran into you, I'm like, I've seen Nissan Altimas do that really well. I was surprised to see one of those cars do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. I didn't know. I actually didn't know the cars. I didn't know the cars.
It happens. It's you're out there with however many other competitors. You put your utmost faith in them, and it's racing. It's just
That being said, it's nice to know the cars have functional turn signals. Although, did you notice none of the BMWs use their turn signals?
No, they didn't.
No, I think they removed them.
Or they have them.
Or those are race cars. Those are race cars. I think from the factory they sell them like.
They definitely have turn signals. I've used the turn signals in those cars.
Yeah, they have turn signals.
No, it's just a running joke that they don't use their turn signals. So
yeah, I'll be that. They're out of blinker fluid.
Actually, I was at the Mini dealership one day, and up on the shelf was a bottle that said blinker fluid.
That's
oh my god!
No, that's funny.
So it actually had a bottle of blinker fluid there. It was real. It was just. I was like, I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah. Funny. Yes. There's also always an issue of loose nuts behind the wheel and the muffler bearings making noise.
Yep.
The muffler bearings.
Yep. That's awesome.
No, I had that's just hysterical. But I do have this sitting here, so I'm going to make sure to bring this over to Baron Mini.
Love it.
Your signed steering wheel. I got to
take a picture of it once they put it up, please.
Huh?
Take a picture of it once they put it up.
Oh, definitely. And yes, I got to remind whoever did the group photo, the group photo of all of us to make sure that it's not on wide angle. Because I was standing at the end, and I'm like, it really stretches your everything out when you get to that edge.
Whatever setting the phone was at and the camera was at.
I was looking at the picture, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm not that wide.
Jeez.
Well, Lewis fed us well, so
yes, always.
Yeah, but I doubt I would have gained that much weight in that short amount of time.
Yes.
Hey, what's the donuts on Saturday morning?
The donuts on Saturday. I had one donut though.
And
I don't understand what Jackson's saying. Nobody gets the joke. He must have been talking about the turn signal thing. I don't know. But we also have your hood scoop up here.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
There's the brake rotor. I found out it does fit perfectly on a bookcase. So
there you go.
It's a bookend. You didn't know that? They were made for that.
Well, I'd have to weld a little little plate at the bottom so they could actually sit without rolling. Because if I try to put it on a regular shelf, it's going to roll off and kill somebody.
Yeah,
that's okay. As long as it's the right person.
You might need another Band-Aid if that
might smash the cat.
Might need another Band-Aid. I don't know how I managed to pull that off. It's like I'm touching this wheelbarrow. I'm like, oh, I just cut my finger. It's like, how the
That's
heck?
why I don't touch race cars in terms of fixing them. I've had some incidences, and I'm done. I learned my lesson.
You let someone else do the work.
Yeah, I got a really good scar on my finger to prove it. So
So
Yeah.
Bruce, have
Yes.
you watched the live stream back at home after the race?
I did when I got home.
How was it to hear Ryan say your name?
Well, it was a thrill. So that was part of the dream come true, to drive in a race that Ryan calls, and I was glad we had we had some performance that he could talk about, and I was kind of lucky we had a 10-minute delay at the beginning of the second race, because Amanda in the pits was getting low on content, so she stopped by my window, and to be able to say hi to Ryan up there, that was an added bonus.
Yeah, I watched the live stream and it was pretty emotional. I was pretty emotional hearing him. I believe he said "Hi, Dad" at one point in the. Yeah.
so cool.
Yes.
So both you and Ryan are amazing, and to have you in the paddock with us was an honor. It was really cool. I've known Ryan since 2017, and that was a special moment for you. And it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I thought when Ryan stopped by early, maybe it was Wednesday or Thursday, and shared the story. 2017 PJ was your championship win, and it was Ryan's start with SRO Broadcasting. And Ryan tells a story of PJ coming into the pits with his win, a championship win, and jumps out of the car and gives Ryan a big hug. And Ryan, man, to be a part of all of that, it was obviously memorable to him too.
Yeah. It was special. That was a really, really good one. I couldn't hold it in. I didn't care who it was. I was giving him the hug after that, and then right into the interview. That was cool. That was a memory forever.
But I'll tell you, my highlight of the weekend probably was after the first warm up. Because again, I was surprised at how thanks to others probably who sandbagged, but Ryan, I walk out of the garage, Ryan is coming up and he gives me this big hug, to podium in warm up on the first time out in the track. That's my claim to fame.
Awesome.
Yeah, but even with the sandbagging, I mean, you qualified well too, so.
Yes.
It wasn't like you were, P2 and you're slow. You were doing a great job.
We were in there, so
yeah.
Little more practice. I'd love to have more time in the car. Again, when I watch Clay, PJ, and you too, Lewis and Cristian, I can see how you're throwing the car around to get that extra half second to a second. And I'm still a bit timid. Is it going to bite or not? And I had my fun on the opening lap of qualifying, and I proved you can spin a Mini.
I really wish I had a camera in your car to capture that. That just would have been the most entertaining thing to see.
Yeah. I wish you had a picture of my face too. Because see, I'm not half the driver PJ is, because he was ahead of me, and he was completely 90 degrees coming out of the floor. It's that little kink. You go left, you go right, and his car snapped around clockwise, 90 degrees, and then went straight. And then I said, note to self, I'm coming up on this. And sure enough, it snaps. And by the time I think to step on the gas, I'm beyond 90 degrees. And that's too far. And then Lewis is behind me. He's probably thinking, what is Bruce doing here?
We didn't need a camera. I saw your face.
And I saw it all in the mirror. I was like, "Oh, Bruce is having a fun ride right there."
Yeah.
Little mini sideways.
Yeah,
I should be turning up on that hill. I could have on that hill next to the stands. I probably could have watched it from there and seen that happen.
And then what I was sure to do, I went to visit Ryan, and my brother came in, so we stopped by the booth. And I also know Clark, who runs the productions, and I went inside his trailer, and I said, Clark, did you have the video up at 8 o'clock? And he goes, no. And I said, great. There is no video except
You
probably
played
the
the game.
camera.
You missed out on that opportunity.
I'll send you the clip
if you posted
when I
that
review
stuff.
my video.
I don't need that. No,
That would
I
have been
don't need it.
been such a that would have been such a fun thing to put on the highlight reel.
No.
Hey,
We've
That's
all
why-
been there and done it. Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah, I have a I didn't have any video of it, but I have a friend of mine who took photos at an autocross race, turned my sliding out of control after coming out of a slalom into like a GIF file. So you see this file of me just doing this completely rotating around and going backwards down the road, down the track.
Yeah. Well, I proved I'm human, so.
But you won't
We
do
all
it
are.
again. So that's
No.
No, you
In
won't
my
get-
racing career, I always had the adage, it's okay to spin. Then you find the limit, but don't spin in the same place twice.
I think I spun one time in my entire life, and it was at Watkins Glen in the carousel. My first time ever in the SRO Mini, and it was one of our first early morning practice. And it was before we ran the hard compound. It was the year before, because I actually went out to test the hard compound that morning, and I made it to the carousel in the outlap, and I don't think I was going more than the 60 miles per hour, and this thing is on me. And I was not only it was my only first spin, but I was the first one out of pit lane, so the entire TC's class was coming around the corner, and I'm here sideways, and that was a bad moment. So that was the first and the last time,
Yeah, I like somebody chimed in that frisbees go faster with
you
rotation.
go faster like a frisbee. Yep.
Yeah.
I responded back. Spin right round like a record.
So the company that sells us the Pirellis and mounts of Pirellis is Frisbee.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Frisbee
Goes
tire.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
Frisbee tire. Okay, so we know who
There
made
you
you spin.
Well, guys, this is going to be our last stream for a little bit, or what?
Well, I don't know if this will be the last stream or not. Depends on what you guys depends on what you guys are working on next month. If you have anything worth showing, sharing?
We can talk about our vacation in Mexico.
Yes, we can.
There's a good one. Yeah, bring back some footage of that. Some pictures.
Hardware. That's the key thing.
What was that?
We
The
sure will.
hardware. Bring the
Man,
hardware.
if we bring hardware during vacation next week, that's going to be pretty impressive, because we're the only car that's like this. That's like a car. The other four that in the car class, I think, are side by sides with like massive off-road suspension and race vehicles. So we'll see. We got to get to the end. That's the key. Not get lost. Go as fast as we can. And I'm sure at least two of them, hopefully we're not one of those two, won't make it to the end of the week. But we'll see. We won in 2018. There was about 6 cars also, and we took 2 of these. This time we're only taking 1, but we took 2 of them and we finished 1 too. So we'll see.
Have you talked to Minnie about them giving you 2 countrymen to do that with?
Yeah, we always chat about it, because my love for rally, and I would love to take Minnie rallying. Maybe not so much off road. I mean, they off-road's already taken by X-Raid with the Countryman Dakar vehicles, race cars. But, Minnie did the WRC, I don't know what that was, 10 years ago when they...
Pro Drive. I've seen that thing. That thing was insane.
Yeah. And, so I would like to take the hard top to rally here in the U.S. And we've chatted a few times about it, and we'll see. You know, whether Mini does it or I do it do it by myself. You know, I think I'm going to do it at some point. It's just time and budget to do it, but that's where I like to go racing. You know, I wanted to. You know, Clay asked me, you know, am I going to drive next year? I think, Rob and I, everybody knows Rob. Rob's amazing. You know, he makes you guys go fast and he's been one of my best friends and business partner for 20 years. And you know, I told him that, you know, I just like Cristian, I wanted to drive. We created this team so I could drive, and there was never budget to drive. But so I did these last 2 races and just being around, managing the team. You know, we have enough people that I don't really need to manage, but honestly, I can't give up, you know, I don't want to say micromanage, but I have to be involved and you know, being a driver and trying to make sure the team is running in all 5 cylinders. It was a big job, and I didn't feel that I can get into a race mode. You know, I was slow in Sebring. I wasn't very fast in Indy. I did have a lot of car issues for most of it, and you know, but I just never was able to get, you know, I could never get into the racing part of it. I was just always making sure the cars were trying to get out on time. And, you know, I didn't see any videos. I didn't spend any time with Rob and the drivers looking at data or videos. And so, you know, I think I walked the track the day before setup. And then, you know, I had another commitment on setup day. So I had to go to VIR to run another car. And, you know, we got back on, Thursday for the first practice session, and everybody's in the cars and I'm still not dressed, you know, and I'm just trying to get in my fire suit, and, you know, I'm almost out of breath, and it just never was able to get into the race mode. Right. So, you know, Clay asked me if I was going to drive next year, and I talked to Rob. You know, I told him a couple of times, like, yeah, I just can't drive and worry about the team. And so maybe, you know, this would be a good excuse to do rally, and then on the off weekends I just go rally, you know, without having to worry about everybody, you know, and just be able to get in the race group, because it takes a lot to drive. You guys know that, Zach, it's, you know, it's different driving a street car at speed than it is trying to drive a race car around, you know, at any track, or, you know, and Indy's quite, I don't want to call it easy, but it's flat, and there's really not a lot of danger curves or walls. So you can be a little brave at times, you know, but, you know, you go to a place like Watkins Glen where it's high commitment, high speed, you know, corners have banking and high grip, or you go to Road America at the Kink, you know, those are pucker up corners, right? And I don't care how good you are, or how good hooked up the car is, or if you're in race mode, man, those are corners that you just hold your breath, you know, and you knuckle up and you get through it. So it's not easy to be a race car driver, you know. So yeah, I was never able, neither, you know, at Sebring nor at Indy. I think for race 2, you know, we were all done. We, you know, basically after the race, we were going to just load up and leave. So I was probably the most comfortable. I was the most racy. I think, you know, I had a great start. I think, did I pass you in the start, Bruce, or no? I don't remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you were beside me, and we thought that might keep people behind, but then you were side by side way on the inside.
Yeah.
So I thought, I don't want to be part of 6 wide going into 1. So I went from 7th to last in the first turn.
Yeah. So,
but But again, that's when I decided, okay, well now, then the next lap, somebody else ran off the track. And PJ, actually, the person that got you in the end, that was when that car came back on track because it missed turn one.
Yes.
And I thought, here's another chance for us all. But all of a sudden, it ended up back with you. And anyway, it wasn't the prettiest of driving out there by some.
Not pro.
Yes. But yes,
Yeah,
Louis, you had a great start. And I always, if you were next to me, then I wasn't really afraid. But then you had somebody yet on the inside of you, and you guys needed to go someplace. So I backed out, and I ended up having a good view of everything. But then there was nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
So I know.
So just to finish it's just too difficult to be able to take care of the team or just be, watch the guys and make sure the cars. At one point, I think we were waiting on some brake ducts that we had at the shop, and I think it was practice 2, and the cars were still all on blocks, on stands, and I'm in my driver's suit with helmet, getting hoods down, and and it's just not something that it's a lot of money, it takes a lot of commitment, and I just couldn't get racy. I just didn't feel it. Besides some of the mechanical issues that I was dealing with the car, and I felt racy for the 2 or 3 laps that I ran until I pulled off when we were helping Cristian try to get that 3rd place in the championship. So would I do another one here or there? It all depends. I would, but it's difficult to take care of the team and drive, and I want to, I'm a racer, right? So I don't want to, I just don't want to go watch everything. I want to go participate, right? I want to compete, and that's why I'm so grateful for Bruce because I know he wanted to compete, and he was having a great battle with the Hyundai there, lap after lap. I already had pulled off, and I'm sitting in pit lane. I never got out of my car. I sat in the car, and I could watch, I was counting the cars going by and seeing where Cristian was at and where Gresham and Devin was at. And I watched Bruce come down side by side with a Hyundai every time for, until we asked him to pull off the racetrack. So I know how difficult that decision is because, you don't want to give that up. But so thank you again, Bruce, for giving up the fun to park the car that afternoon,
Yeah, again, my pleasure. Yes, it was fun, but so is being part of a team.
Yes, thank you.
So I know that there's going to be some changes to the field next year in terms of some of the cars. I believe I heard they're retiring the M2s and TCX.
No, they're retiring the 240i and TC.
Oh, okay.
The M2 is a brand new car.
The TCX car is a brand new car.
Okay, never mind then. I was wrong.
You were close. You were in the wrong class.
Wrong class.
So are there any other cars getting retired?
The Veloster maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's happening with Hyundai, but they've had a tough season with their new Elantra. It never went fast.
Never seemed. It also never seemed like they. It's hard to make it. You can't just come into TCA and have a competitive car right away. So
yeah, I mean, it's
definitely
it's difficult, and that car never was able to get the performance out of it. So who knows if Brian Hurta is going to bring back the Hyundai. I know that Rick is building the Elantra also, but the N one, right? N, which has got performance already from production. So,
I thought the one that the Hyundai team was using was an Elantra N. It was just a regular Elantra.
Just a 1.6 turbo Elantra.
Yeah, just
Wow.
the base model. I guess I don't know the models, but it wasn't an N. And so yeah, I don't know where Hyundai's going to be at in TCA. You know, I know that in TC, Rick, like I said, Rick is building the Elantra N, and he'll do well. He's got experience now with the Veloster. Rick is a great guy, you know, builds nice cars and has a great program. Yeah, so he'll be fine. But yeah, so out of TCA, I don't know what's going to happen to the Hyundais. Maybe somebody could bring a Veloster down the line. I can't imagine that somebody's going to try to get the Elantra to be competitive. That's going to be a lot of money for, you know. Yeah, I can't believe that the two drivers that drove there, Tyner and Delgado, I can't believe they drove those cars all year long. You know, not good for their career as young drivers coming up to be in a development car. I'm sure they didn't expect the car not to perform, but you know, at some point when it doesn't perform in the first few races, and you know what the challenges are, then you have to make a call. They should have brought the Velosters in sooner, you know, but
yeah. So someone who did ask us, Rich S, who's been commenting a lot, hey guys, what's the average cost of a race day?
A lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. In TCA, it's about $20,000, you know, a little over $20,000 a weekend. And TC is close to 30 a weekend. And TCX, well, you have to have an NW M2, and we don't have one. So I know the racing costs. I just don't know the maintenance on the car. So probably 35 in a TCX, you know.
So is TCX strictly BMW basically?
It won't be beginning next year or the year after.
Year after, I think.
Yeah.
What cars are they going to be bringing in? Do you know?
We're not sure yet. They haven't announced it.
So the Honda TCR,
I guess next year will be TCR cars also.
So the TCR cars are going to do the retired Honda TCR car in IMSA is coming to TCX.
So you'll see Audis, Volkswagens, the Honda, the old Hyundai.
Well, I know Audi has that really really well put together RS3. So
yeah,
they're all the same.
It's all the same.
Yeah, they're all the TCRs are homologated just like the TCs and the TCXs.
Yeah,
they're all the same. And then I think in 24 Honda's coming out with the Acura S, maybe the
Integra.
The Integra,
yes.
Yeah, so that'll be the replacement for the Honda TCR car will only be for 2023, and then in 24 they'll replace the TCR car for the Integra. So there'll be several cars. I expect other companies to come in.
So does TCR race separately, or did they just not have any TCR cars this year?
No, so TCR doesn't race in SRO.
Oh,
TCR is raced in IMSA.
Oh, okay, that's why I didn't, because I heard of TCR. I was like, I haven't seen any TCR cars. So
yeah, so the TCR in the US, they did race a few seasons in SRO, but then they're strictly in IMSA. So the retired cars will be able to come and be modified somewhat. You know, at the moment, the TCX cars and the TC cars run the TCR tire. So it won't be that big of a deal to run a TCR car. You know, the TCX cars are rated somewhere between 350 and 400 horsepower. The TCR cars are rated at 300 horsepower. So you got 300 horsepower, same tires. You know, yeah, it'll be a good match for the BMW. And, yeah, it'll be good. You know,
it'll make for some interesting racing, because going from an all BMW field to a BMW and other brands thrown in there to.
Yeah, it was never meant to be an all BMW field. Just that's at the moment, that's the only car that was available. So
yeah,
you know, the series has been working really hard to invite other manufacturers that have cars to fit with it, and here we are. They'll have more cars, different cars, moving forward.
Well, fantastic. So you guys are going to have another car built pretty soon, probably in the next several months, and then you'll have one more TC car to field next year. I know you guys are still looking for drivers, probably looking for drivers for two of those, three cars basically.
Yeah, at the moment, PJ's, coming back next year. Clay's got to work on sponsorships, but he'll be back. And same with Cristian. We got to figure out the budget and sponsorship for him. But at the moment, our three driver lineup, the 22 driver lineup should be coming back for 23, and then we have two more TCA cars available, and I plan to build another TC car, so we'll have three cars available, two in TC, two in TCA, one in TC. If there's more drivers and we need more cars, I can build cars in 10, 20 days. I can build a new car. So, we'll see. There's always interest. The BMW that's retiring, those guys need a ride. So who knows?
They may come knocking at your door or looking for a car.
Yeah, I mean, this time of year, there's a lot of knocking on the door. Whether, not everybody comes in. So
yeah,
we'll see. They're all welcome in. We'll just see who wants to come in. But we'll make sure that give everybody a good experience. Maybe we'll have save Bruce a car. I got the car that we're putting underneath this Christmas tree will be available for Indy again. Maybe.
Thank you.
He'll just keep coming out every time you guys are at Indy. He'll just spend the money and come out and race for that weekend just to come out there.
Well, he did it. Bruce did an amazing job. It wasn't a good job. It was a great job. He came in. Honestly, our cars they're not difficult to drive, but if you haven't driven it's difficult until you understand it and get some laps under your belt. And Bruce has explained a few things that he had, a few challenges, from never driving the car but once you have some laps and, it's not hard to be fast. And,
it is a great platform, a great car. And I'll tell you what, I felt confident under braking against any car, any class. So the BMWs would be coming up behind me. And if they didn't get beside me before a turn, they tucked in behind. Now, once we opened up, say to turn 10, then they had me on the inside, and that's all fine. But coming at the end of Holman Straight in a left-hand turn, it surprised me at first that they weren't trying to jump me on the inside, but they tucked in behind. Our braking is so good. And then in the middle of a turn, it's as good as anything. So these cars are really good and really fun to drive.
Yeah. They're an amazing car. It's an amazing team, and three drivers returning next year as I'm going to start calling them the Three Amigos.
Great movie.
But great movie.
Yes, great movie.
Great movie.
It was my age in saying that, but that's okay.
Cristian's a little young, so he's never seen that movie, I'm sure.
No.
He's never seen. Oh my God, he's never seen that movie.
Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. Yeah.
I don't know any of those people.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Don't worry.
Probably seen them. You just don't know their name.
We'll show you the movie next year. How does that sound?
Yeah, we're gonna have a movie night. We're gonna have a movie night. We'll subject you to the Three Amigos and any other movie you've never seen before.
Sounds good.
But I want to, as always, thank you guys for coming into these live streams. I want to thank you for the hospitality when I was in Indianapolis. It was fantastic. It was just a great time being there and hanging out with you all and being a part of the team. And I'm hoping we'll be talking more, Lewis, because I'm definitely on board with coming to the races next year and filming and doing whatever I can. If it means driving the dually to the races, I'll drive the dually.
Sounds good.
Or I'll navigate for Jackson. Yeah, or I'll navigate for Jackson. But at least it'll give me a ride to the races, so I don't have to figure out plane tickets and everything to get there.
Copy that.
Because I know Sonoma, you guys probably are going to be going down I-70 heading towards Sonoma.
I don't know. I don't drive the truck, so I don't know.
I'm sure I was talking to Jackson about that. I was like, well, if you guys are going to come down I-70 with the truck, I can just hitch a ride from my parents' house because it's right off of I-70. But I wanted to thank everybody here. Bruce, you did a fantastic job last weekend. PJ, despite all the other things, you still had a fantastic year. Cristian, you had a fantastic year regardless of the outcome at Indianapolis, and you still have 2023 to look forward to. You're a young driver. You have many, many years ahead of you. I mean, if your dad's been doing this for a long time, you're going to be doing this for just as long, if not longer.
Yeah, thank you.
And Clay, you did fantastic as well. And next year is just going to be another great year for you. I'm sure of it. But I wanted to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank the entire racing team for being here. We got many more live streams planned down the road. Lots more to talk about. Lots more to do. Let me know when you start building that TC car. I may have to come out there and set up a camera for that, or just spend several weeks and just watch you guys build that thing. But I want to thank everybody for watching. And before I let you all go, and team, stay with me after we end. But before I let you all go, I'm just going to remind you all that life is too short to drive a boring car. So, team, what do we drive?
A Mini.
Drive a Mini. There you go. And Rich says to tell Bruce to stay off the grass.
Yes.
But thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time.